All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Hopefully, a day that was better than the overall market. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I am fantastic. And yeah, I can't believe it's Thursday already. What the week goes. So.
Oh, yes. Thursday already, man. And man, it goes fast. It goes fast already. The year, man. We're in April, going to May, so it's flying. It's flying. One thing that's happening too is earnings season, so looking forward to that. We should see some more today, and hopefully, as that picks up, so does volatility. Although I don't think this market needs any volatility more than what it has already here overall. So let's head over there. Our gappers list at the moment, as you can see here, not a whole lot. Just a lot of movements happening within the market day. If you saw the SPY yesterday, you saw how that traded. We'll look at that as well. So let's get to our market post. What's happening for today, Peter? Anything exciting?
Well, I guess a couple of things. Right now, we got a couple of numbers coming out with the jobless claims and the Philly Fed manufacturing. Let's start with the jobless claims that came out pretty much on target. 1.8 million was the estimate. 1.1 was the actual, so right on target there. That was continuing jobless claims. Initial jobless claims was 215,000, 212,000 was the number. Again, pretty much right on target. Love the new background, by the way. It's throwing me off. I feel like I'm in a newsroom. I'm underdressed.
There you go,
for this newsroom.
Peter, directly from our trading terminals newsroom there.
I know it's wow, that's something else. All right, coming to you direct then from the market floor. The Philly Fed manufacturing came in actually significantly higher than expected. Forecast. Now, this is always a lot of these are like relative scales. So last month it was 3.2. This month the estimate was lower at 1.5, but it came in 15.5. So it just means that the manufacturing index came in a lot stronger than anticipated, which is not a major market impact type item, but that's very interesting that we've had pretty much on target economic signals. This manufacturing number, which is often a precursor to economic growth, right? Because it's where it sits, I guess, in the chain, is pretty high. So I don't know if the market will actually give us a reaction to that or not right now. I'm not seeing much of a move on the market, but it might pick up a little bit in the coming minutes. Later on this morning, we do have a couple of speakers happening, as you can see, at 9:05 and 9:15, and then existing home sales at 10, and then one last speaker at 11. So it should be another quiet afternoon in the markets. Not a lot anticipated for tomorrow on the economic picture. If I look around the world, I'm just bringing up some screens here. If I look around the world, it's pretty quiet. We have generally a little bit of a green market across the world, but not by much. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'd love a green day. We've had a couple of sort of down days, as Carlos, you were saying a minute ago. You can see on the SPY on the daily, we've been heading down for all of this week, coming from Friday down through the first part of this week. So let's see what today. Maybe we can regain some of the lost height that we've had. So, all right, that's the news on the economic calendar. Let's get to specific things that are moving with the earnings and just gappers, and we'll see what's interesting.
Absolutely, friends.
Back to you, Carlos.
Back to me over here in the New York studio. All right,
friends, let's get to it. Studio, that's right.
All right.
I guess that makes me a foreign correspondent, then, doesn't it? I don't know.
We were still in America. You still. Yeah.
America's.
There it is. All right, friends. Let's take a look here. So again, our scanners at the moment not giving us a whole lot, but it doesn't mean we're not going to have an exciting day. We sure did yesterday. Control A, Control X is going to clean this watch this for us over at Dash Trader Pro, and we'll look at the first one, BPTH. What is this? We are up 61%, 7 million shares traded. So tons of volume on this one. Oh, the flow is brutal. I'm showing 700,000, Peter. What do you have on your end, just to confirm? But whatever it is very low.
700,000. I mean, this is a company with a $2.4 million market cap, but it's a tiny biotech that has completed only a phase 1 study. Phase 1 is very early phase study, but it's had positive results, and that's why it's moving with a little bit of, well, more than a little bit of volume. I mean, this means that the float has already turned over 10 times. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is definitely high risk pile. If you like these types of micro floats, high volatility stock, this might be your one for today. But
yeah, I'm not a big fan. It does look very active here. It could be a risky pile or low flow of the day. So we'll throw it on here. BPTH rocking this morning. How old is this ticker? This sounds familiar, man. Hold on.
We have seen it before. It's not the first time it's been on the list.
I think this is one where, yes, this is the ticker when I first started trading that I lost tons of money on. It was this bad boy. It sounds familiar. I'm like, I know I have some scars on this one when I was first trying to trade a low flow stock. So I started trading 2018. It might have been somewhere in there, but this sounds familiar, man. All right, let's take a look at the next one, BNTC. Those days are far and behind me now, so that's good. As far as trading low flow stocks, no way. BNTC this morning, it is up 13% at 989,000 shares traded. This is another low flow stock, 2.2 million. Yeah, Peter?
Yeah, another low float, another clinical trial study, phase 1 study, well, phase 1B/2A study in this case. But yeah, it's another one of these small biotechs that can sometimes get movement, a lot less volume on this one. So if you're going to pick one, I guess BPTH seems to have the volume this morning. Although that volume has slowed, right? Like, notice how slow it's creeping up here. I can see it on your watch list. I mean, we've only had a couple thousand shares in the last few minutes. So I don't like this any more than I like the other one we just looked at. But that's the news.
Yeah. Lack of volume on this one. We'll leave this one alone. That's it for a gap up, Peter. Well, do you have anything as far as earnings that's gapping up today?
Yeah, it's funny you were talking about how you lost a lot of money on these. I wanted to make a comment. I think we all go through that phase where, because you look at them and you see the move and you're like, oh man, I want to do that. And there are some people that specialize in it. And I think almost every trader goes through let's do low floats, right? You can make a lot of money really fast. Let's go do it. And then they realize, how do I do this regularly, right? How do I manage my risk, create some management processes that are going to protect me to the downside? And you realize this is like craziness, right? Like, it can be done, but it's actually a lot harder than you would think. The easy money attracts you, and then most traders, not all, but most traders end up moving to other things that they can sort of manage more effectively. So it's a rite of passage, Carlos. So I've been through it. Sounds like you've been through it too. It's something we all do. Gapping up. All right, so let's talk earnings on the gap up. Not a lot that's moving heavily, but let me mention a couple of earnings from this morning. Nokia, NOK, dual traded here. So that means we don't get a lot of volume on the North American market, but NOK is Nokia's symbol. They missed on their revenue, but beat on earnings, but are gapping up marginally so far this morning. It's not a good trader, not one I would normally look at. Earnings from last night that are gapping up. CSX, that's a railway. They again, not a great trader. They don't typically get a lot of volume, but they beat their numbers in the quarter. Some concern that their profit was down 10% overall, despite their volumes being up by 3%. So, but we are seeing them gap up on very low volume this morning. The only other one that's gapping up is Alcoa, AA. They had earnings again after the close yesterday. Mixed picture there, beat revenue and missed on their earnings per share. So I've got a few others, but they're gapping down so far this morning. So we'll talk about them in a minute.
All right, taking a look at our gap down. We'll start with one that we saw this week. I think
Yes.
gapping up. WISA, right? So WISA was on the gap up side of things, and now coming back down a little bit here, down 12.9, 1 million shares traded. It is hard to borrow. I mean, this is a dangerous one, so be very, very careful on here. And again, I won't be watching it, Peter. It just looks like it's coming back down to reality. The fun might be over on this low flow stock at 1.3 million.
Yeah, I think both times I flipped to it to take a look and see what it was doing yesterday, it had halted. So that told me all I needed to know. If it was actively in a halt, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to touch this, because that's how you get stuck on things. And it moved, but yeah, not in a great fashion. And then when it opened off the halt, it like would drop down a buck. So
Yeah.
this is the one, if you remember, just for anybody that wasn't here yesterday, this is the one that had a 1 for a 150 reverse split. So again, 2 days ago, this was a 5-cent stock. Don't let it fool you that it's now trading around, what is it now, $8. It still trades like a 5-cent stock. So
yeah. We'll leave it alone. And then heading down to the next one, INFY is on the list here, gapping down 7.3. 4 billion. Wow, I haven't seen one of these numbers in a while. 4 billion shares flow here. And that at least trades like this, right? You know, we got some really big companies, but this one is actually looking pretty nasty here. 271,000 shares traded. So nobody's really trading this. You got a big gap down. Something's driving it. But if you look at the daily, they also have a horrible. Is it foreign? This looks very foreign-like trading.
Infosys, which is an IT services company out of India.
Okay.
Used to be a big competitor in my industry. Used to compete against them and love to hate them. They had earnings, which is why they're on the gap list with a little bit of volume. They beat their numbers. Infosys is a weird one that it doesn't seem to matter what their earnings are. The stock will move independent of the earning results. So they did deliver better than expected numbers. But they're gapping down. I don't know how to trade this. It doesn't typically get a lot of volume. So yeah, we can just move on.
All right, we'll move on to the next one here. PRPH. I feel we saw this as well in the past. Actually, probably sometime this week. You see the gap up here over the last couple of days. But we are down 4.3, 1 million shares traded. Again, just where's this 1 million? This looks horrible. I don't like it.
Sorry, Simmer was making me laugh because I guess Simmer was at our presentation in Vancouver. Anyways, so for all of you out there in YouTube land and in the room that weren't in Vancouver, I learned that apparently there was a drinking game that all of my colleagues here at Bearable Traders would play every time I would mention my former career or the fact that I was a corporate executive. They would have to take a drink. So I had no idea. So apparently I indirectly mentioned it when I was talking about Infosys. So I didn't even realize. So there you go. Have a drink.
He's on to
go
us.
for it. All right, fine. But anyways, back to the markets. Prophase Labs. Yeah, this has been on the list in the past too. But I don't remember ever trading it. They're talking AI. ZenQ AI. They unveiled a new project that they're calling ZenQ AI. I don't know. I mean, like you say, look at that daily, right? That's just scary stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's funny. Everybody's like, this project employs the company's state-of-the-art AI platform, which was meticulously developed with leading AI technology platforms and systems. So they basically cobbled together something from other people's technologies. Anyways, it was built over 6 years from a whole genome sequencing tests. Whoa. It's a genomic sequencing database that they've built using AI. So I don't know what they're going to do with it. Maybe they're going to build some artificial humans.
Anyways, whatever they're doing, we don't like it. We're going to skip on.
We don't like it. And look, it's already dropped off the gappers list. So.
Yeah. Why did it drop off, by the way?
It's gone.
It's gone. Yeah. Even our gappers list is helping us stay away from this garbage. All right. Let's take a look here. We'll give that one a nice truck over there for how bad that is. Let's take a look here. Tesla this morning. Man, Tesla. This thing is just wow.
So
Uh,
I think Tesla has turned the corner. It feels like Tesla's now a company in trouble. Um, I was looking for the news this morning. Not a lot of news on Tesla, not real news. But when the headlines are on, like I read an entire article because I was trying to figure out what if there was a bigger point to it, but there wasn't. An entire article about a guy that brought his Cybertruck to a car wash, and then when he parked it back home, it stopped working. Like everything, he did the factory reboot. It just couldn't get it to work. Basically, had to let it dry out before it turned back on. I'm like,
like the phones,
okay,
put it in rice, which I heard is not good
and
for it,
right, he
but
put the whole car in a
just put
big
the
bucket of rice.
bucket of
Didn't
rice.
do that, but he had to let it. But and then there was this whole thing in the article about a rant that apparently Tesla will void your warranty if you wash your car in the sunlight or take it through a commercial car wash. I, anyways, it was to me it was just like a nothing article. But that's then I found like 5 more different stories about random little things that have happened to people with their vehicles. Look, when you mass produce any product, there's going to be this type of thing, right? And it's been happening for years to Tesla, right? Remember the stories about the car that it ran like full speed into a semi tractor trailer in autonomous mode because it was
Yeah.
white and the radar couldn't see it. And like this stuff is type of stuff, like weird things have been happening for years, and it happens with every product. But when this stuff starts to get the headline, that shows that, to me, the tide is turning a little bit, right? And people are not, brushing it away and say, it's still a great company, it's growth, and this stuff is going to happen. To look at all the problems, I'm getting nervous for Tesla. And look at the price. Like we are down at the 150 mark. Whereas, last week at this time, we were sitting in the 170s and thinking maybe it could go back to 200. It's not feeling that way anymore. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think we got to watch this one closely. We need our meme there because it's. Did you manage to get that one loaded? There he is. There
There
he
he
is.
is,
Look at
friends.
that. He's trying to make a good show of it, but yeah, we're floating downriver here in Tesla. I'm a little worried about it. Now, that being said, could provide some awesome trading opportunities, right? So, so I think it's absolutely on the list today. We've already got some good volume on it. It's been trading well. I just, I mean, if you're a long-term shareholder, yikes! You're not feeling happy. But trading opportunities, you bet it's on the list.
Yeah, yeah, volume is there. I mean, it's gapping down nicely this morning. Someone we it's funny. We're kind of joking. We say, hey, 150 on Tesla when it was at 220, and I honestly didn't think it was going to get there, but it's right above in the neighborhood. So,
And here we are. Right?
and here we are, man.
I
Did
should
not think
mention
that.
I should mention there is some actual news on Tesla too. They've fallen to third spot in the rankings in China in terms of number of sales. They had fallen they were in first for a while. They fell to second behind BYD. They've now fallen to third. So they are sort of moving down the rankings as other car companies, with better price points, start to flex the muscles in the Chinese market. So I mean, they're still number one in North America and I believe European markets, but it's the what do they call it? The Huns, the Mongols. Anyways, the
Yeah.
riffraff. They're at the gates. They're coming for them. So
Yeah, yeah, they sure are. Good question here in chat. Why are we switching back and forth between community and here? We're actually not switching back and forth, but people just find Bearwood traders much faster than they do BBT community, right? And even myself, like even I don't know about you, Peter. I'll go into the BBT community. Like if you type Bearwood traders in YouTube, BBT community doesn't come up. So I was getting tons of messages from members saying, "Hey, why you guys stopped the pre-market show?" People that take a break and come back. I'm like, we never stopped. We moved it over here so they can't find it.
yeah.
So that's the reason we're here. We're staying. We're not moving anywhere else unless the grass is green on the other side. But I doubt that's going to be happening. All right, that's a Tesla, guys, on the list this morning. Let's take a look at another one. TSM. TSM also got some good volume, man. 1.9 million shares traded, down 2.8 this morning. So I like that there. I like the volume, man. Any specific news this morning? That looks
Yeah, they,
nice.
they had earnings in the early morning. They actually beat their numbers. I'm a little surprised to see TSM down like this, especially being that it's not like the entire sector is down. There's a couple of offerings that are down, Intel and Texas Instruments, but AMD, Nvidia, their SMCI even they're gapping up. So. But yeah, Taiwan Semiconductor is gapping down despite good earnings, beat top and bottom line. They have big plans for growth in the North American and global markets. I don't know. I mean, it seems like they should be having a decent day of it, but they are gapping down $4 here with almost 2 million shares traded. A little more volume
Yeah.
than normal on TSM. So yeah, I don't know what to make of it.
That's what I like on it, is the volume we're getting here. So definitely going to be watching that one. All right, let's take a look at what else is on here. I think that's it, actually. Yep, that's it on the gap down list. Peter, anything gapping down that might not be showing here this morning?
Well, let me just talk about one that's gapping up because it's in the semiconductor sector. News I ran across and I was looking up TSM. Micron, MU, not which we used to trade a lot, but haven't recently. They had some good news this morning as they received over $6 billion worth of U.S. federal grants to develop chips in their factories in both New York and Idaho. So good news day for Micron. They had a down day yesterday. Maybe they can gap up a little bit. You can see they're up over the closing price, and we'll see what happens with them. But yes, in other earnings news and that are gapping down this morning, Las Vegas Sands (LVS) gapping down this morning despite having good earnings. They actually beat their numbers, were over forecast, most of it due to growth in Singapore. So a very strong performance out of Singapore, which led to LVS beating the numbers, but they are gapping down almost $2 this morning, about 3.8%. And Equifax. I have a soft spot in my heart for Equifax. You were talking about things you used to trade, Carlos. Equifax is my very first big trade. When I first started day trading live back in 2016,
Wow.
they
What's
were
the
going
ticker for
through a
that?
scandal.
The ticker.
EFX. EFX. And yeah, it was one of those where I traded more size than I could handle, but it worked, and I made like $700 in a matter of like 2 minutes. And I remember running to talk to my wife, and I'm like, I am going to be a billionaire by the end of the week. This is so easy. And of course, I went on that week to lose several $1,000s. But yeah, that's anyways. I think another rite of passage. We all do something silly like that, right? You have good luck on a trade, and unfortunately for me, it literally was my very first live trade, and yeah, it was crazy sad. Anyways,
Wild.
so mixed earnings on them. They missed on revenue. Sorry, beat on bottom line, and are gapping down here on very, very low volume. But that's what Equifax gets these days. So that's really what I think. We talked about everything on my list. Yeah. Yeah, guys, I mean, definitely I'm going to be watching semiconductors with TSM and Micron as potential targets. And of course, my good buddies, AMD and NVIDIA. Other than that, Apple and Tesla, of course, we already talked about Tesla. Apple not doing anything special. I'm actually surprised to see Apple doing as well as they have been. I mean, they've been down for the last couple of days, but they're really just giving back the gains they had late last week. So we're sort of back to the starting point, which means it's at an inflection point for me if you look at the daily, and it could go either way. So I'll be keeping an eye on that just to see which way it goes. Other than that, yeah, we'll wait and see what the gappers bring in, or maybe what you guys talk about. So what have you got? Tell us. This is
Yeah.
normally Carlos's line, but YouTube and in the room, let us know the tickers that you're looking at that we haven't already covered, and we'll take a look at them.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start here with our chat. DJT, yeah, saw that it popped up and disappeared here. So it just appeared on our list. Let's take a look at what's going on there. DJT, again, not much volume, 200,000 shares traded. It's missing our gappers list because it's going back and forth between 1.7 and down 2%. Once it goes below 2%, it'll jump back on our list. But again, not a whole lot of volume here. And man, look at the drop this thing has
No.
had over the last couple of days. So not
DJT is
doing
going
so
to
hot.
continue to move as this trial winds on, of course, in New York, right? With
Yep.
Trump. It's funny. I haven't heard anything about the actual trial itself, other than it seems like the media is just loving to cover the fact that people are falling asleep in the court. So we'll leave it at that. But whatever. I mean, eventually we'll hear some news out of the trial itself. Yeah, it's DJT is going to be impacted by that directly. So. It's a risky one. I haven't actually looked at it much in the last couple of days, but based on what I'm seeing here in the daily, looks like the volume hasn't been like big, blockbuster volume, and it hasn't like broken out of big ranges. So it might be tradable, but I think there's better things.
Yeah, yeah. We do have shares for short on it, but I was looking at it's only 45,000, which again is not a lot for this type of stock. That can be gone pretty quickly. Let's take a look at some of the stuff here on deck. It's ATEY, and I'll look at coin next. ATEYY. What is this? Ooh,
What's a
no. What's
what
this?
the heck? That's too many letters. What is this?
Yeah, too many letters, and it looks brutal. So DR, whatever your name is there. Yeah, this is I don't know what you like on this one, but the volume is just not there, and it looks very, very choppy. So you want to be
I
careful.
see.
This 2 million you're seeing here, this is probably just transactions being recorded, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't count that as volume. It is up 4%, but again, you got to be careful with this one. Again, depending on your trading style, but I don't know many people that like this type of daily activity. So be very, very careful. We're going to give that one a good
Yeah.
old garbage spin there for the most part.
Absolutely. It always makes me nervous when you can't even find it for the analyst coverage or on the news list. There's nothing on this company, so I don't even know what this is. But yeah, I have no interest in it.
Yeah. So just be careful. Again, you really have to know. You got to be looking for something specific if you're looking at that ticker. So just be careful. Here's Coin up 186,000 shares traded. Man, overall Bitcoin sliding with all the news of Powell kind of. I didn't know he was speaking yesterday, but I heard something last night that he actually spoke. I had no idea that he was actually going to be making some kind of statement yesterday. But
Who? He
Powell.
who?
Powell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I
so
didn't know that.
yeah, he mentioned something about slowing down some more. So that's what a lot of the stuff is happening with the markets. Like it seems like cuts are they going to happen in June now? It's like they keep pushing this back slowly and slowly. We'll see what takes place here. But here's a coin, by the way, very light volume, not as much fun as we saw yesterday in the pre-market. I think it's still a good one to look at. Coin as well as Mara, both Bitcoin type plays. There's plenty of tickers you can look at, but these two I really, really like. So I'm going to put them on a secondary because they're
Yeah.
not explosive right now, though. Pretty quiet.
Midday yesterday, Bitcoin did dip below $60,000 for the first time in a number of weeks. So, yeah, it's Bitcoin prices have been dropping, which shows a little bit of weakness, but it might be back at some point.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Carlos? I want to make sure. So you're testing out this new banner at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
This is gobbledygook, right? Because this doesn't look like a language.
It sure is. The system just
All
throws that
right.
in there so you can see what it looks like. But it's funny. Some of our members caught something within that, and also in our chat room. I put in there if you're reading this, if you're somehow randomly reading this, throw "Who's Elon" on the chat
Yeah,
room, and you saw a few of them saying "Who's Elon? Who's Elon?" So you guys are paying attention, man. Good job.
yeah, and it
But
it,
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it picked that up in the weird things in the feed. Anyways, okay. I thought, oh, maybe it's Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, and I'm like, no, that's not
No,
Spanish.
no,
Is it
no, it's definitely
Latin?
not
No,
Spanish.
it's not Latin. There, see, like there you
See,
go. See, it
yeah,
somehow
there
got
you're
this
seeing
message.
some actual, yeah.
Who's Elon in the chat room? Oh, look at that. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. So some people caught it very early on too. So great job
Look
there.
at that.
Um,
Took me a little longer. All right.
well, we're busy, right, doing other things. We're not reading that down there, but yeah,
Okay.
friends, as we're doing the show, we're kind of trying to upgrade things. So be patient with us, because unlike Boeing that has to land to fix their planes, we actually do it while we're doing the show, middle of the week. So things will look halfway through as we're repairing things and making them better. So Be patient with us there.
Really, really, what you should have done, Carlos, is they should have told me that that was plain English, and then I would have just thought I'd had a
You'd have
stroke
been going nuts.
and should be running off to the hospital because
Yeah,
clearly something's wrong with my head.
yeah,
I don't know. Why
absolutely.
can't you read it, Peter? It's clear.
Yeah,
Look what
what's
it
going
says.
on,
It's
man? Everybody else
what's
is
going
not having a
on.
problem.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here at United. I know it's not on anybody's list, and I don't think anybody mentioned it, but what a day they had yesterday. Hopefully, you guys took advantage of that. We know Andrew did on this one. If you haven't seen his recap, it's available right on the channel, so you can take a look at that. Really, really nice
Yeah.
trade on United. Do we get a
United
secondary
was
play
one of
here?
those rare moves we don't see very often these days, where you could have literally just sort of bought it in the morning, come back right before the close, and closed out your position, and you would have been very happy because it basically didn't go down all day. It moved sideways for a good part of the afternoon, but yeah, it's that doesn't happen all that often. I mean, there was a time in the market when you could do that on almost anything, and we were joking about that. All the TikTokers that used to do the two-finger trading, remember that? They say all I have to do is I just
Go from
buy
here to
here,
here.
and I buy here and I sell here, and that's all you have to do. It's super easy. Where are they now, right? So
Yeah, not
so
not that easy. Not that easy. Um,
yeah.
All right, friends. Let's see what else you guys like this morning. We have on here. Let's take a look going back. Coin we have on deck. That's good. Boogie, I missed you here. Let's look at your ticker. TIRX. What is this here? This is what do we have? This is an ETF or something? No, it's not. What is this?
Tricks are for kids. Oh no, TIRX.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Uh,
this is. It's got tons of
Tian
volume.
Ruzhang Holdings. Anyways, a Chinese. It's an insurance broker out of China. Wow,
Yeah.
2 million share float. Wow, 2.5 million share float with a $1.5 million valuation. Run, like just
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
This is yeah.
Gotta know what you're doing here, guys. Again, it is in play given what they do, but you have to know what you're doing here. I'm not gonna add it to my list. Just too risky, under $5. To just be mindful of that one. Let's take a look here at Snow. Yeah. Don't spam the chat. I'll look at it this time, but don't spam the chat. We'll get to you. Here's Snow this morning. There's not a whole lot of volume. Pretty light right now. But again, this is typical Snow's pre-market activity. Even when they have some kind of news, they don't get great volume, right? So as far as day trading, you have to wait for the market open if there's going to even be something on here. But usually we like Snow when it does this right here. It did it back in February, early March, big drop. You get the volume, and then it goes back down to its normal trading activity, which is very, very light. So I'm not seeing anything explosive here. I'm not sure there's any news driving this. So we'll skip on it for now, Peter, unless you have some kind of news that might spark things up.
I mean, nothing's particularly new, right? There's a lot of mixed opinions on Snow. They've underperformed for quite a while now, but there's a lot of fans that are saying, well, they brought in new leadership. Ramaswamy as the CEO is everybody's expecting big things from. Warren Buffett has this in his portfolio, or in the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio. So people are saying, just be patient, it'll come back. But yeah, it doesn't look good, and it's not a great trader right now. So I don't know. I don't see anything we can do with it as intraday traders.
Yeah, no, I'm not see there. Hey, over to Target, not Target, but this is TGTX. I'm thinking Target short, but it's not. And we've seen this ticker before. A therapeutics company does not trade very well. Had a gap up a few months ago, so that's why we remember it here. It was in play almost every day, gapping up or down. Not doing a whole lot right now. Barely any volume, so we won't look at it too much here. Heading over to Meta. Yeah, Meta could be good. Meta could be a nice one to watch. Pre-market activity usually very light. They get their volume after the market open. I mean, overall, the last couple of days, as we see here with the SPY, things has just been moving with the overall market. Meta, Tesla, all of these are just kind of diving with the overall market here. So Meta is one of them that I do like to see them on my secondary list at least. So I'm going to add them on here. But again, they're in that pile of our usual suspects, like Apple, which you mentioned earlier, Peter, and I do like this morning. I'm going to add that to my list as well. So I got Tesla, TSM, and Apple. I think the daily looks interesting, by the way. A huge pop all the way to 179, almost 178, and then right back down to 167. So again, it looks like they start to get things going, and the market kind of pulled them down here with the last couple of days. So Do like that one as well. All right, let's do two more maybe. Of course, we'll have to do AMD. Let's do AMD on here. And good volume on AMD, 1.4 million. So that is more than what we usually see here. I like that. Pre-market's not doing a whole lot, pretty flat at the moment. So little change, but I like the volume we're getting on that one. All right, excellent.
Uh,
Let's yeah.
Netflix. We should probably mention Netflix. It's the biggest of the ones that are on that has earnings after the close
Mm.
today. So tradingterminal.com, go check it out there. You can see what's coming up from the earnings calendar. Today after the close, we got a few, including Netflix. And what else we got? There was something else I was looking at. Oh, PPG. No, that wasn't it. Anyways, I can't remember the other one, but yeah, Netflix is probably the big one. Oh, usually going into earnings, we get a little bit quiet price action. So I don't know that I expect a lot of movement today. Like it's not expected to be a massive earnings or big surprising numbers. So I think Netflix might be a little quiet as people just wait to see how the earnings go, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, I also see TSM. TSM is tonight. So they're in play today already, man.
They
They're down.
well they
Is that 10?
they actually had earnings this morning. That seems to be
Oh, so they got the little
correct
moon here.
there.
That's incorrect. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's a little typo
yeah,
there.
yeah, that's okay. We'll have to body slam somebody over there to get that fixed. No
That's right.
problem. All right. Who's Elon? Yes, I'm still getting the Who's Elon comments. Awesome, guys. You guys are catching that. Now, if you're coming into the show, you're just seeing it. You had no idea. We talked about it already. But yeah, good. You're paying attention. All right, friends, let's head over to our community events announcement happening this wonderful Thursday. So you can always get that information over at variabletraders.com by heading to our website, heading to webinars, scroll down and look at what's happening Thursday.
Yeah, last night we had our psychology webinar. It's Thursday, which means it's our mentorship day. So today we have 3 different sessions of mentorship for everybody to attend. If you're an elite member, you have access to all of them. We start with John at 11 a.m., who does his mentorship. Usually it's a small group, so it's a great place to ask questions. If you're new to the room or very experienced, John has a lot of sardonic humor for you as well as market knowledge. So it's a great place to get your questions answered. 11 a.m. in the webinar room. And then Jared and Megan take over, talk options. If you want to do some options mentorship, then 2 o'clock is your time. The webinar room is your place, and you can have a great conversation with them. And then Thor takes over, as he always does, Thursday evening at 8 o'clock to do the Mentorship Thursday. It's always a great session, high energy with Mr. Thor. So hopefully you will join him this evening. That's what we've got going on today. And that closes out the week because we do not have sessions on Friday, just as a reminder. And then we'll be back with our evening sessions on Monday, as always. If you want information on the markets that never closes, tradingterminal.com is the place to go. They sponsor this morning show. They give us all the data we need to sort of get ready for the market open, and we refer to it regularly. If you want to use it, it's completely free. Check it out. The scanners, as Carlos is showing us right here, are great to check out intraday movement. Can give you an idea of what's happening, what's moving, especially if you're not part of a room. And if you are part of a room, like our Bearable Traders chat room, well, then you got a ton, you got thousands of eyes out there helping you find out what's going on. Plus, great conversation, people to share trades with and see what they're doing. It's always good to be part of a community, any community that fits your needs. And the Bearable Trading community is one of the best, in my completely biased and non-humble opinion. If you wanted to join us at Bearable Traders, then we have a number of membership options, from the intro offer, which just gives you 1 week access to our onboarding class on Monday. That's use the code PreMarket24 to get a $24 priced discount on that. If you want to join then on a monthly package, we have the Elite or Basic, the Elite Annual, and of course the Elite Platinum that I've been mentioning that bundles in the P Capital Bootcamp. So all of those are available. All of those are there for your use and enjoyment. And if you have questions about any of them, well, email us, reach out on social media. We're happy to answer your questions. All right. So those are all of the options. And now we will set some levels with Carlos, and then we'll see what our moderators are doing. We still have things to do here before we hand you over to the open crew to take you through the opening bell.
Yeah, absolutely, friends. We're just talking about United here, so we're going to add United to the list. I do like it for a secondary play, and I think I have a little bit of space. The volume we're seeing here, this 1.1 million, again, is probably trades being transacted, not really moving the price, because I don't see that here, right? We don't see that volume
Yeah, I don't see it
at the
either.
moment. So, but again, after such a big move, I'm curious to see how that's going to look later today. Might be more of a possible if I find something that looks a little bit better, that can trade better, I'll move that one down. But for the most part, right now, looking rather good. All right, let's take a look here. Levels, friends. Let's get our daily levels in place for our trading this morning. Making new lows here. It is Tesla down now towards the low of 151.10 is the low of the pre-market. And then our high of our pre-market is above the previous day close over at 156.67. So we'll mark that there as well. Let's head back a little bit. We got to go back to see when was the last time we were down here. And this seems to be May of last year. So yeah, but we were talking about this yesterday, right? Almost exactly a year ago. We were around this area. So we were actually lower. So we're gonna mark this level just in case, 152.45. But this is a new 52-week low that we're seeing on Tesla. And last time we were here, if we got to go back even further, um, right between this gap down, this gap up that we had. So this gap up here, 145 is the level there. And yeah, so it's been a while. 145, 82, and then I'm also going to mark down 148.06. So that's the best levels I have on this daily, going back to middle of last year, where we find some levels where we were last hanging out at. So again, tough time for Tesla right here. 3 million shares traded, heavily in play this morning. Those are the daily level stuff, support and resistance we're going to keep in mind. TSM, also tons of volume. Usually not on my list. I prefer NVIDIA, AMD, and some other ones. But on the list this morning, they have tons of volume. 134.22 is the low of the pre-market, and the high is going to be over at 140.45 today. So we'll put that on there. In between, you have all the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, previous day close. Tons of stuff in there. I'm not going to add any more. Let's look at some stuff outside of this high and low. Towards the bottom looks very interesting. You can see the areas of support here that we had in the past. So we're right on there. We're right on there. But I don't know. It's looking rather weak towards the downside. But if it is going to bounce from somewhere, that could be the place, given how much support we have on the daily. 131.28 is the next best level. I see a lot of touches happening here. So it's just kind of got a lot going on there. So definitely want to slam a level there. So you guys slam that thumbs up over on YouTube and help us get to our goal of 160 likes is usually our daily goal. So we'd love for you guys to help us get there. Thank you so much for that. Over to Apple next. So Apple also sitting just under a level of a lot of daily support right on here, 167. We have been lower all the way to 167.14. So 167.14 is the low of the pre-market this morning. And heading back, we will see when was the last time we had this opportunity to be around this area. It's going to be October. So October timeframe, we're going to come in here. We're going to slam into a level over at 165.68 on the daily for Apple. Since then, we did have a nice, beautiful bounce. But again, things are in a different situation this time around, and just a whole lot of weakness out of Apple, especially in the last couple of days, but in the overall picture as well. AMD is the next one. A great day yesterday for AMD. This morning, our high of our pre-market up at 157.80, and then towards the bottom, we're slamming right into the previous day close. So that is our low of our pre-market right on this. So I don't have to worry too much about that. Tons of volume, 1.4 million. I know a lot of that is now reflected in our pre-market activity. But man, tons of volume this morning after such a beautiful short day yesterday, right? So you had a really nice drop there. Couple of pullbacks. I mean, it traded so clean. Peter, did you trade AMD yesterday? Was that your trade, or were you able to catch anything on this?
I did trade it. My biggest trade yesterday actually was on United Airlines, but
Yeah, you
of
did.
course
Yeah.
I didn't get it long. I got a short on a pullback in the afternoon. So
Yeah. Yeah. So AMD looking really good. I also have United. We'll look at that one next. I want another level towards the bottom, although I see AMD bouncing pretty nice here, or at least trying to. Another level below the low of the pre-market this morning. We're going to be looking at 150.19. So we'll put a level there as well. Last but not least, it's going to be United on our list this morning. We'll see what our moderators have. So if our moderators are ready, start throwing out those tickers out there. We'll look at them in a second. High of the pre-market for United, 49.09. And this, looking at it, it looks more like a possible. But after such a big day yesterday, I'm hoping today we can have some kind of secondary play. So 48.28 is the low of the pre-market there. Then we have this big, huge candle on yesterday on earnings. They did very, very well. 47.26 is another level there. And then towards the bottom, we do have another one at 46.50. 56. And I think that kind of covers us towards the downside. We're going to go to see what's above the pre-market high this morning. And we are looking at, this great area consolidation right on here, guys. So consolidating there. If we look towards the top, we have right over here, 49.69. And then also right on here, this is an area around 50.44. Looks really, really good. Again, United doesn't move that much. We're seeing great movements now because of what happened yesterday. Let's see if half of that can continue. We can still have a great, great day. I'm not saying towards the top. This can also drop down maybe if we kind of get more weakness in the overall market, just pulling things down as we've seen in a lot of the semis, especially. All right, that is our list right there, friends. We got a couple of possibles on here. We're not going to do levels for those, but those are set and ready to go. Let's head over to our overall market, not overall market, excuse me, to our moderators list. So we'll see what's happening there, see what our moderators have this morning. And let's take a look here. We're looking at Thor. He has Tesla, Apple, AMD, TSM, futures as well for him there. Trading Mom, aka Trading Mom here, Susan on her list, Tesla, Apple, and CSCO. Peter, your list, AMD, Tesla, Apple, TSM, and MU. Also, AA Alcoa on that secondary list. Wow, is that all the IPOs for today?
Yeah, we got a bumper crop of IPOs. I only expect 2 of them to actually open. The first 2 there, the last 3 are on the list, but they seem less likely to open based on their current status. But I'll let you know when they happen.
Yeah,
if they.
Yeah. I went back and looked at June. Remember, I had June that opened up, and it
June
did
was
nothing.
Yesterday's. Yeah,
yeah, it did nothing, no volume, so it's pretty bad.
No, it was another dud. I mean, most of them are duds. We've had a few decent ones. If you remember RDDT,
What is RDDT doing? Yeah, I remember
it's
that.
not doing anything right now, but it was good for a little bit, and it had these big moves. And then, of course, we've been looking at DXYZ for the Americans. It's another IPO relatively recently that did okay, and so that there have been a few, but nothing really great. No big standout that people have been waiting for, right? That all the money's pouring into. I mean, it used to be that money would pour into anything that opened as an IPO, but again, like so many things, those days are behind us for now. They'll be back. I can almost guarantee they'll be back. Right? I just don't know whether that's later this year, next year, or a decade from now, right? So,
yeah,
but
absolutely. All right, friends, there we have it. That is our moderators list. I don't see anybody else. And I think we are all set. Guys, have an amazing trading day over on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great trading day.
Trade smart, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.